Hello. Hold on. I'm probably talking and you can't hear me. Maybe you can. Hey. Hey. I haven't done a live in so long. I'm so excited to be here. I'm going to be talking about stress and intimacy. It's something that I'm working a lot with private clients on right now. And I mean, disconnection is just something that is so common in relationships and in life right now, right? Like after the pandemic, during the pandemic, people were told not to be in the same proximity as people and not to engage in conversation or touch other people or do all these crazy things where those things still stay in our nervous system and affect the way that we relate to people now. So I'm just going to introduce the nervous system. It's my favorite thing to talk about and why we are having difficulty as a collective with relationships right now. If you have any sort of prior knowledge to the nervous system or you're currently experiencing difficulties within your relationship, intimacy, sex, just general well-being in your relationship, you can totally put something in the chat. I would love to answer any questions that you have. I also work privately with people to help just develop greater intimacy and understanding within your dynamics, and not just your dynamics within your relationship. Kids, like your children will shift, your relationships will shift as a result of you having this knowledge, because kids are just energetic beings and they're going off of what your emotional state is. So if you have a dysregulated nervous system and you are coming in from work and you're really stressed and you have no ability to self-regulate, your kids' behavior will adjust to that. Your pet's behavior will adjust to that. You will have difficulty in your relationship because of your inability to self-regulate. And self-regulation is something that happens at a subconscious level. Yes, unregulated, dysregulated, correct. So your nervous system is your body's internal alarm system. You have 32 to 40 approximately miles of nerves in your body. Like 40 miles of nerves is a lot of nerves. You got a lot of nerve. You really do have a lot of nerves in your body, and the main job of your nerves is to detect threats from the environment, send it up to your brain for processing, and then your brain has to decide if it's threatening or not and if it deserves a reaction. So if it thinks it deserves a reaction, that initiates your sympathetic nervous system, which is that fight or flight response. Does anyone know what the Does anyone know what the fight or flight response is? The fight or flight response is anything that makes you take action, right? Like when you decide to take any sort of action, that's that sympathetic nervous system arousal. And based on the past 2 years, depending on what your experience was with the pandemic or just life in general right now, with finances, with work, with stress, with being at home and being stressed, household chores, not being connected to what you're supposed to be doing here. Like there's a lot of things that can initiate that stress response. And when that stress response is initiated, you actually get tunnel vision. So you start to only see about like a really small fraction of what's happening in your day-to-day life. And that's frustrating because then you're not resourceful. You can't see other options. You get stuck in a mindset that keeps you in this perpetual state of stress. And when you are in that state, you can't physiologically seek connection, procreation, sex, and intimacy because you are in tunnel vision. You are in stress and survival mode. And your animal body, this animalistic part of you that wants to keep you safe and alive, is like, sex is not important right now because we're so worried about just making it through the day. So my platform is all about raising mental health within relationships and helping people to develop the skills, the tools, and the knowledge to be able to relate better in your relationships with your kids, with strangers, with family, just understanding at a really foundational level where things go wrong and helping you to be able to navigate those circumstances confidently. Does anyone have questions on the nervous system? So you have that sympathetic nervous system arousal, which is that fight or flight. That's when you notice maybe your heart is starting to race. that you are taking more shallow breaths. You might focus on one specific part of a conversation or situation. But then you also have your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest. That's probably what you're feeling right now. You might notice that you have to go to the bathroom or that you're hungry. These are indications that you are in a parasympathetic state and you are able to engage in connection and sex. So how do you deal with cataracts? Probably get them surgically fixed. Fight or flight, I fall down and play possum. Yes, that's another indication of the nervous system. So when you hit a state of overwhelm, thank you. When you hit a state of overwhelm, so you're in that parasympathetic nervous system arousal first, and then when your nervous system becomes activated, you enter survival mode. And then once it stays in survival mode for a long period of time and you enter a state of overwhelm or freeze, when you're in the freeze response, those are feelings of disconnection, dissociation, depression. All of these feelings that are really terrible to experience are your nervous system's way of trying to give you information that you're in an overwhelmed state and we need to change the course of action. The trick here is that we often don't learn the skills to help you come back down off of a sympathetic nervous system response, right? You get into this state of like perpetual states of, I don't know what to do. I'm stuck. My body's shutting down. Now I have all these physical manifestations of illness. And a lot of times it's the result of chronic dysregulation. Why is it so normal for the body to remain in a sympathetic state? I mean, is an animal thing. It is, and it's also a human thing. So when you are in our world is pretty much primed for that sympathetic nervous system state. That's part of evolution. That's how we evolve as humans. So we need action. We need a stimulus to cause us to want to take action towards change. That's how we evolve. But because we are not primed or prepared for relaxation, rest, and digest, we often get stuck in that survival mode state. It's like putting your foot on the gas for a long period of time. And like, how long could you drive a car with your foot on the gas? Is this online college talk? Probably. It's like driving a car with your foot on the gas. How long would you be able to drive a car with your foot on the gas? Not very long, because it would run out of gas. So a lot of us are like chronically existing in a state of exhaustion and you're just out of gas. You don't have anything left to give. And you're existing at a burnout state. This is when you start to see that dissociation or the disinterest or the disconnection. And those are not necessarily your partner's fault. A lot of times we like to blame your partner for why you're feeling the way that you are, but it's 100% what you're going through that you might not understand that you're projecting onto your partner. That was a mouthful. Who framed I don't know who framed them. Butterflies in my world represent how much you actually enter states of metamorphosis throughout self-development. So you're constantly experiencing death and rebirth as you learn different things about yourself. And that's the good thing about being in relationships, right? Like they're going to show you the most. That's the what is it called? The University of Life. University of Life is going to teach you more than anything I'm saying, than anything that anybody will tell you. You can learn all of this stuff through experience, but you kind of just have to have that seed planted in your mind that that's what you're looking for. Thank you. That was like my little rant. I just wanted to introduce what I do. If you're new here, hello. I am about to launch a course, which I'm super pumped about. It's just giving you this tool, skills, and knowledge and understanding of relating in relationships, not just in intimate relationships. However, it is focused on intimate relationships, building deeper intimacy within your dynamic. I also have a spicy text guide available, and this is just to help you with feeling comfortable and confident to be able to tell people through texting. You can do flirting, they could be spicy. There's a whole book on that. I just wanted to give you guys as much of the knowledge that's in my head as possible, because relationships don't have to be as challenging, as daunting, as scary as people think that they are. It's just truly understanding yourself first so that you can understand why somebody is behaving in the way that they do or why someone is showing up in the way that they are, and helping you to come together. Thank you. Yeah, because I don't know about you guys, but I never learned relational information. How to meet somebody's emotional needs, how to meet your own emotional needs, physical needs, mental needs. So again, all of the information that I have on my platform and what I'm all about is helping to create more awareness about mental health in relationships and how people do become the trigger for that sympathetic nervous system arousal. And then you start to blame them for various aspects that are not necessarily their fault. It's more so a projection of your own internal experience being shown in somebody in front of you. Whether or not you want to admit or take responsibility for yourself is on you to be able to move through those blocks and barriers, keeping you from really truly connecting in relationships. Yeah, they don't teach it in public school, but it's like, if you're taking radical responsibility for your own internal experience, they probably just didn't have this information. I know my teachers did not understand anything that I've learned in my adult life. So it's, what is the phrase? Like, you don't know, you can't do anything about stuff that you're not aware of. You have to go seek out answers that you have. Ask a question, find the answer, and then report back to people who are further behind you to help them progress as well. That's how we evolve together as humans. That's how we find true connection. And that's how we experience deep love for yourself and for other people. Thanks for being here. If you have any questions, you can comment on any of my stuff. I love talking to people about the nervous system and relationships and being like a happier, healthier person. It's my jam. I want you to feel as good as you possibly can. So thanks again for being here, and I'll see you later.